Namaste. Okay, now the cat's out of the bag. We released the Seeing Way from a stealth project. Now it's publicly available. Well, what does that mean? The Seeing Way is Advaita. It is drawn from the original Advaita scriptures. But what our colleague Matthew Scherf did was to extract the logical network from the cultural package, leaving a clean, mathematical, logical system that has been verified by a supercomputer as being 100% logically coherent. In other words, it contains no internal contradictions. It's complete. Everything is defined within it. All we need to do now is make it accessible. And that's what the Seeing Way is all about. Because you don't want to have to learn mathematics to understand Advaita. It's difficult enough, huh? But what we have done is remove the cultural and linguistic wrapper that encrypts the system of Advaita, leaving it in its pristine, original abstract form, and then made it accessible through a series of awareness exercises, guided meditations, if you will, that help you to look directly at what is. Because Advaita is not something added to you. It's not something you have to develop like a muscle. It's already there. It already is the way it is. So what's missing is only the way to access it. How to look in such a way that it becomes obvious, clear as the light of day. That's what the Seeing Way is. It's not a philosophy, not a religion, not, some kind of weird cult or something like that. It's a method, just a method of seeing what's already there and what's described in the Upanishads, the Aranyakas, and the commentaries as Advaita Vedanta. So it's nothing to be scared of, it's nothing to be concerned about, and it's not to be confused with other different approaches such as Neo-Advaita. In Neo-Advaita, the big mistake is that they take the ordinary ego as the self with a capital S. And then they don't do any sadhana, they don't do any kind of meditation, but they just have a bunch of slogans, and that is supposed to stand for realization, but it's not. The Seeing Way gradually destroys the ego, dissolves it by insight. This is the Upanishadic way. And instead of using samadhi, which is out of reach of most people today, we use inner inquiry, Atma Vichara, as taught by Ramana Maharshi. But we do it in a guided way by asking specific, focused questions that help you look and see what is already the case. What is that? Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Tattvamasi, you are also that. But there is a background of insight and discovery that has to precede those catchphrases and make them into organic insights, ways of looking at life, at yourself, and at others that fit within the Advaita paradigm. So we haven't really done anything. Huh? We haven't really added or subtracted anything. We have simply taken the Advaita system out of one cultural context, an ancient one that doesn't really work anymore, and put it in a different cultural context, one where you sit down with a guide, and the guide will ask you certain questions, and you simply look and report what you see. That's it. You don't have to do anything, just be there. Well, I'll give you an example. We've used this many times. The first question in the first session is, do you exist? Now, this is a yes or no question, and there are only two possible answers. Yes, I exist, or no, I don't exist. But for either answer, you have to be. You have to exist. It is not like Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. No, it's I am, therefore I think. And this is the real explanation. First, we exist. And then the next question is, are you conscious? And because we exist, we are conscious. You don't get one without the other. And because these two things come together, they are the foundation of the Advaita logical system. And because you can perceive them directly, without a book, without meditation, without austerity, or living in a temple, or initiations, or any outside support, this is the real self. That which supports everything, but itself needs no support. That is the absolute. That is the self with a capital S. And that is the object of Advaita, and that is what is realized by the Seeing Way.